भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 52, Rukmini's message to Lord Krishna. Actually, the picture in the background is Krishna reading the letter from Rukmini Devi, and there's a Brahman standing on the right side of Krishna. Somehow that picture didn't show up properly in the screen, but I'll post it in the group. Text 15. Anartadhipati Shriman Ravato Ravatim Sutam Brahmana Cha Udita Pradad Balayeti Puroditam. As ordered by Lord Brahma, Ravat, the opulent ruler of Anartha, gave Lord Balram his daughter Ravati in marriage. This has already been discussed. So it was discussed in the 9th canto. The topic of Lord Krishna's marriage to Rukmini now will be discussed. By way of introduction, a brief mention is made of his brother Baladev's marriage. This marriage was alluded to in the 9th canto of Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter. Bhagwan api Govinda upyeme kurudvaha vedarbhim bhishmaka sutam shriyo matram swayamvare Pramatya Tarasarakya Shalvadishchadya Pakshagan Pashatam Sarva Lokanam Tarksha Putra Sudhamiva. O hero among the Kurus, the Supreme Lord himself, Govinda, married Bhishmak's daughter, Vedarbhi, who was a direct expansion of the goddess of fortune. The Lord did this by her desire, and in the process he beat down Shalva and the kings who took Shishupal's side. Indeed, as everyone watched, Shri Krishna took Rukmini just as Garuda boldly stole nectar from the demigods. Srila Jiva Goswami gives the following profound comments on these two verses. The words Shriyo Matram indicate that beautiful Rukmini is a direct expansion of the eternal goddess of fortune. So, eternal goddess of fortune, that is Srimati Radharani. Therefore, she is worthy to be the bride of the personality of Godhead. In the spiritual world, all the female lovers are goddesses of fortune, and the male lover is a supreme personality. Thus, Srila Jiva Goswami explains Srimati Rukmini Devi is a plenary portion of Srimati Radharani. The Kartik Mahatmya section of Padma Puran states, those who were cowherds' daughters in their adolescence became king's daughters in their young women. Similarly, in the Skanda Puran, we find the statement, Rukmini in Dwarka is also Radha in Vrindavan forest. The term Swayamvare here means by one's own choice. Although the word often refers to a formal Vedic ceremony in which an aristocratic girl may select her own husband, like Swayamvar, here it indicates the informal and indeed unprecedented event surrounding Krishna's marriage to Rukmini. In fact, Shri Krishna and Srimati Rukmini chose each other because of their eternal, transcendental love. So she is always a queen of Krishna. It's just different pastimes. It happens differently. So when we say Rukmini Devi is plenary portion of Srimati Radharani, so just like Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, Radharani also never leaves Vrindavan. But Krishna, the Devaki Nandan Krishna, Vasudev Krishna, comes out and then goes to Mathura and then Dwarka. Srimati Radharani wants to give him pleasure in all different ways or any different way possible. So she expands herself as Rukmini Devi and all 16,108 means they all expansions of Srimati Radharani. But they want to give pleasure to Krishna in that in that queenly way. Srimati Radharani is a gopi, not a queen, like Rukmini Devi. But in Dwarka, since Krishna is like a king, so she wants to give him pleasure in that way. Shri Raju Vacha, Bhagwan Bhishma Sutam, Rukmini Ruchirananam, Rakshasena Vidhanena, Upayam Iti Shrutam. King Parikshit said, the Supreme Lord married Rukmini, the beautiful faced daughter of Bhishma, in the Rakshasa style, or so I have heard. Srila Sridhar Swami quotes the following Smriti statement, Rakshasho Yuddha Haranat. A Rakshas marriage takes place when the bride is stolen from one's rival suitors by force. Similarly, Shukdev Goswami himself has already said, Ragya Pramatya. Krishna had to beat down opposing kings to take Rukmini. Bhagwan Shrotam Ichhami Krishna Syamit Tejasa Yatha Magad Shalvadina Jitva Kanyam Upaharat. My Lord, I wish to hear how the immeasurably powerful Lord Krishna took away his bride while defeating such kings as Magad and Shalva. We should not think that Sri Krishna was actually afraid of Jarasandha. In the very next chapter, we'll find that Sri Krishna easily defeats Jarasandha and his soldiers. Thus, we should never doubt the supreme prowess of Lord Krishna. Brahman Krishna Katha Punya Madhavir Lokamalapaha Kono Tripeta Shramanaha Shrutagyo Nitya Nutna. What experienced listener or Brahman could ever grow satiated by listening to the pious, charming, and ever-fresh topics of Lord Krishna, which cleanse away the world's contamination? Shri Bhadrayana Ruvacha Raja Sid Bhishma Ko Nama Vidarbhadhi Patir Mahan Tasya Panja Bhavan Putra Kanyaka Chavaranana. Shri Bhadrayani said, there was a king named Bhishma, the powerful ruler of Vidarbha. He had 5 sons and 1 daughter of lovely countenance. So Vidarbha is in Maharashtra nowadays. Rukmi Agdajo Rukmaratho Rukma Bahur Anantara Rukma Kesho Rukma Mali Rukmanayesha Swasa Sati. Rukmi was the firstborn son, followed by Rukmarat, Rukma Bahu, Rukma Kesh, and Rukma Mali. The sister was exalted, Rukmini. Sopshrutya Mukundasya Rupa Virya Gunashriya Griha Targiyamanas Tam Mene Sadrisham Patim. Hearing of the beauty, prowess, transcendental character, and opulence of Mukunda from visitors to the palace who sang his praises, Rukmini decided that he would be the perfect husband for her. The word Sadrisham indicates that Rukmini and Shri Krishna had similar qualities and thus were naturally attracted to each other. King Bhishma was a pious man, and therefore many spiritually advanced persons must have visited his palace. These saintly persons undoubtedly preached openly about the glories of Shri Krishna. And one such saintly person was Narad Muni. He would visit Bhishma's palace and tell Rukmini ji about the stories and the qualities of Krishna. And she got attracted to Krishna just by listening about his qualities and the glories. Tam buddhi lakshanodharya rupa shila gunashrayam krishnascha sadrishim bharyam samudvodum manodadhe. Lord Krishna knew that Rukmini possessed intelligence, auspicious bodily markings, magnanimity, beauty, proper behavior, and all other good qualities. Concluding that she would be an ideal wife for him, he made up his mind to marry her. Just as Lord Krishna was described as Sadrisham Patim, an ideal husband for Rukmini, being just like her, Rukmini is described as Sadrishim Bharya, an ideal wife for Shri Krishna, being just like him. That is natural, since Srimati Rukmini is Lord Krishna's internal potency. Bandhuna michatam datum Krishnaya bhagini nruka tato nivarya Krishna vid Rukmi chadyam amanyata. Because Rukmi envied the Lord, the elder brother of Rukmini. O king, he forbade his family members to give his sister to Krishna, although they wanted to. Instead, Rukmi decided to give Rukmini to Shishupal. So that's where the problem starts then. Rukmi abused his position as elder brother and acted with impure motives. He would only suffer for his decision. Tadvetyaasitapangi vedarbhi durmanam visham vichintyaptam dvijam kachit krishnaya prahino dhrutam. Dark-eyed Vedarbhi was aware of this plan and it deeply upset her. Analyzing the situation, she quickly sent a trustworthy Brahmin to Krishna. Dwarkam sam abhyetya pratihara praveshita apashabdadyam purusham asinam kanchanasane. Upon reaching Dwarka, the Brahmin was brought inside by the gatekeepers and saw the primeval personality of Godhead sitting on a golden throne. Drishtva Brahmani Devastam Avruya Nijasana Upaveshyarhayam Chakre Yathatmanam Devokasaha. Seeing the Brahman Shri Krishna, the Lord of the Brahmins, came down from his throne and seated him. Then the Lord worshipped him just as he himself is worshipped by the demigods. So this is how much he respects Brahmins. Tam bhuktavantam visharantam upagamya satam gati panina bhi brishan pada avyagrastam aprachat. After the Brahman had eaten and rested, Shri Krishna, the goal of saintly devotees, came forward and while massaging the Brahman's feet with his own hands, he patiently questioned him as follows. See how he served the Brahmins. Kachid dvijya varashrestha dharmaste vriddha sammata vartate nati krichrena santushta manasa sada. The Supreme Lord said, O best of exalted Brahmins, are your religious practices sanctioned by senior authorities proceeding without great difficulty? Is your mind always fully satisfied? Here we have translated the word dharma as religious practice. Also, this does not fully convey the Sanskrit sense of the word. Krishna did not appear within a secular society. The people in Vedic times could hardly imagine a society that did not understand the need to obey God's law. Thus, to them, the word dharma conveyed a sense of duty in general, higher principles, prescribed duty, and so on. It was automatically understood that such duties were within a religious context. But religion in those days was not a specific aspect or department of life, but rather a guiding light for all activities. Irreligious life was considered demoniac, and God's hand was seen in everything. So it was not a theistic society and so-called secular. He says secular means no religion at all. But secular does not mean no religion. That means atheism. Secular means the government should not force or promote one kind of religion or one religion. That is secular. But in Vedic times, religion, or as Sanatan religion is, it's a way of life. It's ingrained in everything that we do. It's not that, okay, we went to the temple, we followed the religion, and that's it. We come out of the temple, we can do all nonsense things. No. That doesn't mean religion. So Vedic sense means perfect religion. That was of life. Religion was Santushtu yarhi varteta brahmano yena kenachit ahiyamana swadharma sahiyasya akhil kamaduk. When a Brahman is satisfied with whatever comes his way and does not fall away from his religious duties, Those very religious principles become his desire cow, fulfilling all wishes. Asantushto asukrilokan apnoti api sureshwara akinchano api santushta shete sarvanga vijvaraha. An unsatisfied Brahman wanders restlessly from one planet to another, not even from one country to another, even if he becomes king of heaven. But a satisfied Brahman, though he may possess nothing, rests peacefully, all his limbs free of distress. Those who are unsatisfied feel distress throughout their body, becoming subject to many diseases. A satisfied Brahman, however, though he may possess nothing, is peaceful and calm, and there is no distress within his body or mind. And a Brahman should be properly always be satisfied. Even with whatever little he has, he should be satisfied. That is Brahman. Vipran Salabha Santushtan Sadhun Bhut Suhritman Nirahankarina Shanta Namasya Shirasa Sakrit. I repeatedly bow my head in respect to those Brahmins who are satisfied with their Lord. Saintly, prideless, and peaceful, they are the best well-wishers of all living beings. Srila Sridhar Swami explains that Svalabh also means achieving oneself, or in other words, self-realization. Thus, an advanced Brahman is always satisfied with the spiritual understanding, never depending on material formalities or facilities. Kachitva Kushlam Brahman Rajato Yasya Hi Praja Sukham Vasanti Vishe Palyamana Same Priyaha. O Brahman is your king attending to your welfare. Indeed, that king in whose country the citizens are happy and protected is very dear to. Yatastvam agato durgam nistirye yadichya sarvam no bruhu yam cheta kim karyam karvamate. Whence have we come, crossing the impassable sea, and for what purpose? Explain all this to us if it is not a secret, and tell us what we may do for you. So finally he is asking, what's your purpose of coming here? Evam samprashno brahmana parameshtina lila grihita dehena tasmai sarvam avarnayat. Thus questioned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead who incarnates to perform his pastimes, the Brahman told him everything. The word grihita may be translated as grasped or caught, and thus exactly as in English may also mean to perceive or understand something. Therefore, Lord Krishna's transcendental body is perceived, understood, or in other words, grasped by the devotees when the Lord comes to exhibit his transcendental pastimes. These pastimes are not whimsical, but a part of the complex program structured and executed by the Lord himself. So the Brahman gave Krishna the letter written by or personally spoken by Srimati Rukmani ji or Rukmani Devi. So that's why the next verse says, Shri Rukmani Uvacha Shrutva Gunana Bhuvana Sundar Shanvatante Nirvishya Karna Vivrara Harato Angatapam Rupam Drisham Drishimatam Akhilartha Labham Tvai Achyutta Vishati Chittam Apatrapam Me. Shri Rukmani said in her letter, as read by the Brahman, O beauty of the world, having heard of your qualities which enter the ears of those who hear and remove their bodily distress, and having also heard of your beauty which fulfills all the visual desires of those who see, I have fixed my shameless mind upon you, O Krishna. Rukmani was a king's daughter, courageous and bold, and furthermore, she would rather die than lose Krishna. Considering all this, she wrote a frank, explicit letter begging Krishna to come and take her away. So she's a princess. She could write like this. Tatva Mukunda Mahati Kulashila Rupa Vidya Vayo Dravid Dham Abhiratma Tulyam Dhira Patim Kulvati Naurinita Kanya Kale Narsim Narlok Mano Bhiramam. O Mukunda, you're equal only to yourself in lineage, character, beauty, knowledge, youthfulness, wealth, and influence. O lion among men, you delight the minds of all mankind. What aristocratic, sober-minded, and marriageable girl of a good family would not choose you as her husband when the proper time has come? So different names Rukmini Devi has called Krishna with. So first verse, she called him Bhavana Sundar, and Achyuta means you are infallible. So I have chosen you. So as a Kshatriya, now it is because Krishna is acting as a king here. So it's his duty to fulfill the desire of any lady. And now she's calling him Mukunda and Narsimha also. So different names just to make sure she addresses everything about Krishna. Tanme bhavan khalu vrita patiranga jayam atma arpitascha bhavato atra vibho videhi mavir bhagam abhimarshatu chaddyaran goma yuvan mrigpatir balim ambujaksha. Therefore, my dear Lord, I have chosen you as my husband and surrendered myself to you. Please come swiftly, O Almighty One, and make me your wife. O my dear lotus-eyed Lord, let Shishupal never touch the hero's portion like a jackal stealing the property of a lion. The last word, she called him Narsimha, you like a lion in the form of a man. So lion, don't let any jackal touch their kill. Purteshta datta niyam vrata deva vipra gurvar chanadi bhiralam bhagwan paresha aradhito yadi gadagraj ete panim grinatu mena damaghosha sutadyo anye. If I have sufficiently worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead by pious deeds, sacrifices, charity, rituals, and vows, and also by worshipping the demigods, Brahmins, and Gurus, then may Gadagraja come and take my hand, and not Dhamghosha's son or anyone else. So Shishupal was son of Dhamghosh, and Rukmini Devi said, I don't want that he come and take my hand. The Acharya's comment as follows on this verse. Rukmini felt that no one could obtain Lord Krishna by the efforts of a single lifetime. Therefore, she earnestly pointed out that the pious activities she had performed in that life and previous lives, hoping to convince Sri Krishna to come. Shvobhavini tvam ajito dvahne vidarbhan gupta samet pritna patibhi paritaha nirmatya chadyam gadendra balam prasaya mam rakshase vidinodvaha virya shulkam. O unconquerable one, tomorrow when my marriage ceremony is about to begin, you should arrive unseen in Vidarbha and surround yourself with the leaders of your army. Then crush the forces of Chaitya and Magadendra and marry me in the Rakshasa style, winning me with your valor. So in just one night they had, because next day the marriage ceremony was about to begin. And she's giving him all the hints how he should come. As Srila Prabhupada points out in Krishna book, Rukmini, being born of royal blood, certainly had a brilliant grasp of political affairs. He advised Sri Krishna to enter the city alone and unnoticed, and then surround himself with his military commanders. So he could do what was needed. Because if he had come with the army, then there would be fight right outside the city. She wouldn't be unable to enter the city. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur compares the coming fight to the Lord's churning of the ocean to extract the goddess Lakshmi. Gorgeous Rukmini, the goddess of fortune, could be gained in the coming turbulence. Anta Purantara Charim Anihatya Bandhum Tvamudvahe Kathamiti Pravadami Upayam Purvedyurasti Mahati Kuladeva Yatra Yasyam Bahir Nav Vadhur Girijam Upayat. Since I will be staying within the inner chambers of the palace, you may wonder, how can I carry you away without killing some of your relatives? But I shall tell you a way. On the day before the marriage, there is a grand procession to honor the royal family's deity. And in this procession, the new bride goes outside the city to visit goddess Girija or Durgaji. So she is telling him this is the right time to kidnap me. Yasyangri Pankajarajas Napanam Mahanto Vanchanti Uma Patir Ivatma Matmo Apahatya Yarihaya Ambujakshana Labhe Bhavat Prasadam Jayam Suna Vrata Krishana Shat Janabhi Sayat. O lotus-eyed one, great souls like Lord Shiva hanker to bathe in the dust of your lotus feet and thereby destroy their ignorance. If I cannot obtain your mercy, I shall simply give up my vital force, which will have become weak from the severe penances I'll perform. Then, after hundreds of lifetimes of endeavor, I may obtain your mercy. The divine Rukmini's extraordinary dedication to Shri Krishna is possible only on the spiritual platform, not in the fragile world of mundane affection. So she was like, not gonna give up, not gonna marry this man, Shishupal, and I'll just perform penances, severe penances if done, if I cannot obtain your mercy. Brahmanuvacha iti ete guya sandesha yadudeva maya krita vimrishya kartum yachatra kriyatam tad anantaram. The Brahman said, this is the confidential message I have brought with me. O Lord of the Yadus, please consider what must be done in these circumstances and do it at once. When the Brahman arrived, he broke the seal of a confidential letter written in the privacy of Rukmini's quarters and meant only for Lord Krishna. By using the term Guhya Sandesh, the trustworthy Brahman, personally selected by Rukmini, here affirms that he has not violated the confidentiality of this message. Only Lord Krishna has heard it. Since the marriage of Rukmini was fast approaching, Shri Krishna would have to act immediately. The term Yadudev indicates that Lord Krishna, as the Lord of the powerful Yadu dynasty, should make his decision and then mobilize his followers if necessary. So thus ends the purpose to 10th canto, 52nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Rukmini's Message to Lord Krishna. And tomorrow we'll start new chapter, Krishna kidnaps Rukmini. So tomorrow will marriage of Krishna and Rukmini ji. Haribo. So I'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, this Bhagavatam has been written about 5,000 years back, and that time there were no other religions, and like Muslims and Christians were not existing. So why mention of religion is there?
No, it is mentioned dharma. Dharma we have translated as religion. Prabhupada said dharma means the intrinsic duty of anything, the soul's intrinsic duty. And that duty is to serve Krishna, the real duty. Now we make up different duties to serve the demigods. That is not real dharma. Prabhupada always translated dharma as occupational duty or intrinsic duty. Something that cannot be separated from that thing. Kali Yuga, different dharmas have propped up. And they're all, Bhagavatam said they're all cattle dharma, chal dharma. They're not the real dharmas. And they will just come and go. Kali Yuga. Is it okay?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.